Do you find yourself struggling to meet women through online dating apps? Are you tired of constantly swiping left with no success and not knowing what to say to get the attention of a woman? Look no further. Our expert tips and tricks will give you the confidence you need to succeed in the online dating world. It's time to start taking control of your dating life and master the art of online dating. Imagine meeting some of the most attractive women in the world. Our game-changing program will help you navigate the world of online dating with confidence and charm. From creating a standout profile to crafting the perfect message, we've got you covered every step of the way. Our program covers everything you need to know to make a lasting impression. Say goodbye to endless swiping and hello to meaningful connections with the women of your dreams. Join the countless men who have found success in meeting women through online dating by following our time-tested and proven strategies. Take the first step towards improving your dating life today. Master the art of online dating and take your game to the next level. With our proven strategies, you'll be a pro at online dating in no time. So don't wait. Go to onlinedatingfordummies.com and get started today. And take control of your dating life, and you'll be light years ahead of most men with our groundbreaking program. Get ready to swipe right with confidence and watch your success explode. So don't wait. Get started today by going to onlinedatingfordummies.com and take the first step towards finding your perfect match.
Yo, it's official, like a referee with a whistle. So like and share this episode. So let's talk about code switching and women giving up the goods. It's really a two-part question. Someone wanted to know, do I code switch on jobs or while I'm talking to people or in different environments? So in other words, do I talk different as far as the words I use, maybe my tone, just my verbiage and how I explain myself? And the answer is no. No, I speak the same, regardless if I'm on the job or not. I've never had to do that. Regardless of where I'm at, I basically speak the same. Well, here's the deal. When I'm talking to somebody, my job is to get you to understand what I'm talking about and where I'm coming from, regardless of what the conversation might be about. For the most part, I've been able to do that without changing my tone of voice or the certain words. Now, I might have to use simple words just to break it down, make things simple. But for the most part, I don't use words that people don't understand or don't know or never heard of. I don't do that. People that do that usually try to confuse people. They do it on purpose. It's like looking at television. If you look at the news, sometimes you be like, what the hell are these people saying? It's kind of like when you go to the doctor and after you got checked out, the doctor would come and see you. The last person to see you is the doctor, and they come in and start using all these big words, and you be like, hey, just make it plain and simple, like talking to a young kid. And then they'll break it down, and then you will be able to understand. Yeah, so a lot of times people do that on purpose to try to confuse people. It's like looking at television, that's on purpose. But I don't do that. I try to make things simple. life is already complicated as it is. So, right. But first off, as far as jobs go, I don't talk. I try not to talk much on the jobs. That's the first. I don't really try to talk much anyway, because I found on jobs, the more you talk, especially when it comes to your personal business, it can be used against you. So less is more on these jobs. And I talk just like I'm talking right now. I don't try to act like anybody or be anybody else. I'm myself, you know, and I speak in a way where a little kid can understand me. Now, I don't speak no slang. I don't speak like I would back at home. When I'm back at home, we got our own way of speaking and talking, you know. So if someone back home was to go to one of my jobs that I used to work and start talking, they probably wouldn't understand, most people. Like if my brother worked at my old job that I used to work and started to talk, most people probably wouldn't understand what he's saying. I understand because we grew up together. That's my brother, you know. But most people probably wouldn't understand. So some people probably have the code switch on their jobs. You know, I remember I used to talk to this girl, and she was hood too, boy. She's from the hood of Atlanta. She's from Atlanta. I think she's from East Atlanta at the time. And, you know, in Atlanta, they got their own way of speaking anyway. But she was from the east side of Atlanta. And she said a lot of stuff that even I didn't know what she was saying when we first met, until I started to hang around her long enough. And she started to tell me, she's like, I remember one time she's like, you better come over here and get some of this cut. I'm like, what? You gotta come over here and get some of this cut. And she speak, you know, in Atlanta, the people that's born and raised in Atlanta, they speak fast. So when she said, you need to come over here and get some of this cut, I'm like, what? Now, cut means cooch. That's so I didn't know what cut means in Atlanta when they speak. I remember this guy from Alabama that I was with when I was in the Navy. He said, hey man, it's time to go hucklebuck. I'm like, what the hell that mean, bro? Hucklebuck means the same thing as cut. Basically, same thing. You know, go huckle. Ask that girl if she want a hucklebuck. And he's from Alabama. I didn't know, you know, people have their own little dialect, own little way of speaking. You know, that's one thing that's unique about us as people, as Black people. We have, depending on where you live in the country, especially if you're down south, everyone has their own little way of speaking, and even how they sound. You know, like I can tell where people are from across the country based on how they talk, and sometimes how they dress. I can tell. I can tell people that's from South Carolina versus North Carolina versus Florida versus Alabama versus Georgia versus, you know what I'm saying? Texas, you know, just based on how they talk, the words they use, the dialect, the tone, you know, everything. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so that girl, I remember that same girl in Atlanta that said, you need to come get some of this cut, you know. that same girl, I remember she was working at I think she had a corporate job too. I think she was working at UPS, and she used to, one day she said, "Hey, if you ever in this area, call me. Maybe we can go out for lunch, something like that." And I said, "For real?" She said, "Yeah, yeah. If you ever in the area around this lunchtime, just call me up." Because she said, "Yeah, she can basically leave anytime she wants. You know, she had her like that." So I called her. Now I had to call her on the office phone because she had to turn. She couldn't answer her cell phone at work. So I always had the number. She gave me. She said, "Hey, this is my number. Just keep it just in case." You know what I'm saying? So I used to call her every once in a while, probably once every 90 days, something like that. Every 3 to 4 months. So I called her one time. I said, "Hey, can I speak to Melissa?" He said, "Oh, this is, well, let me tell you how she answered the phone." I said, "Hello, hi, how you doing? Can I speak to Melissa?" But before I even said what I said, she said, "Good afternoon. This is Home Depot. This is Melissa. How can I help you?" So I'm like, I thought this is another Melissa. And she was like, I said, "Hey, can I speak to Melissa?" I forgot what her last name was, you know. And she's like, uh, who's calling?" I said, "Hey, it's my name, right?" And she's like, "Oh, how you doing? It's me." I mean, she changed her voice up like so quick. I'm like, damn, she had a different voice, different tone, different way of speaking and every goddamn thing. So I asked her, I said, "Hey, I'm in the area. You want to get a bite real quick? For like an hour, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna hold you long." And she was like, "Yeah, I can meet you." Like, she said, she asked where I was at. I said, "I'm in the area." And she was like, "Hey, I can be out there in like 15 minutes. I bet meet me out here." So when she came, I said, "Hey man, that didn't sound like you. You sound like a completely different person." And she was like, "Yeah, I got to change it up on the job." You know what I'm saying? She said, "I'm a hood chick." I said, so I started laughing or whatever. But it's true. It's true. If she talked like she does, outside the job, on the job, most people wouldn't be able to understand her, especially the white people, especially the foreigners too. Because there's a lot of foreigners that live and work in Atlanta, and most of them wouldn't be able to understand what she's saying and even what I'm saying. But the point is I use words, phrases, and I make sure the person I'm talking to understand what I'm talking about and where I'm coming from. So that's the thing. But some people have a what we call a southern drawl. So it's even much more difficult for people to understand them. So some people might have to code switch. Some people might have to change their tone, and they might have to use proper English. I don't use proper English when I talk most of the time. No, I say, instead of saying kind, I say kinda. And instead of saying it's too big, I'll say it's kind of too big. I don't use proper English, and I'm at the job doing this. I'm at my job talking like this. I don't, instead of saying good morning, I'll say good morning. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like instead of saying good morning, I say good morning. Instead of saying I'm about to go home, I'll say I'm about to go home. I'm about to go, or something like that. I'm about to go. So that's just how I talk. Most people understand, or at least the people that the person I'm talking to understand. Because I talk to one person at a time for the most part, unless I'm doing like a speech or something like that. But even if I'm doing a speech, the audience, they understand, the group, they understand what I'm saying for the most part. And if they don't understand, they usually say so. And I clarify myself. That's how I do it. But some people have to code switch. Some people have a southern drawl, deep voice, and some, depending on what part of the country you born and raised and lived, some people have their own little dialect. That's what it is. We have our own way of speaking, just like these other groups of people. They have their own way of speaking. You can call it a different language, or you call it whatever you want. But even within those languages, there's different dialects. Even with, like, you might speak Spanish, but the people that speak Spanish, no one speaks Spanish the same. The Mexican speaks Spanish different. Spanish, they speak Spanish different. Colombians speak Spanish different. Everybody speaks Spanish different. So just because, just because I know a black person that's from Georgia and I'm from South Carolina, that don't necessarily mean we speak the same. We can understand each other if we really listen and pay attention, but we don't sound the same and we don't speak the same, but we figure it out. We make it do what it do, and the other question is, have I ever went home? No. Has a girl ever said all this good stuff to me, talking about what she's going to do to me, and invited me to come over to her house? And when I got to her house, we started talking, and she was all over me, and we got to kissing, and the clothes came out, and she pulled my thing out, pull out my joint, and maybe her clothes was off too, or maybe it wasn't off. But at the end of the night, she decided, oh, I changed my mind. I don't want to do nothing now. So basically, have a girl ever invited me over her house, told me what she's going to do to me when I got there. But when I got there, she changed her mind and said she didn't want to do nothing to me. She didn't want to do nothing again. She didn't want to put it on me again. Yeah, that has happened to me. Probably like three or four times that I can remember. So check this out. Number one, a woman is not obligated to sleep with you at all. So just keep that in mind. You don't have to like it, but that's just what it is. You're not obligated to do nothing with her if she invites you over to her house, or vice versa. You know what I'm saying? You don't own her, she don't own you. If she changed her mind, she just changed her mind for whatever reason. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. But let's just put that out there, front and center, right? Now, if a woman invites me over, that did happen to me 3 or 4 times, just like I said. But when that did happen to me, she invited me over. This one particular time, this is a good story. This woman, she came over to my house, my spot, my apartment at the time, and she was talking that woo shit, all that nasty shit, what she's gonna do to me and everything. And I've known her for years, but I ain't seen her in probably 2 years at this point. But she's a good looking girl, but she was older than me. She's probably 10, 8, 9 years older than me at the time. Right. And we we used to go to school together. That's how we met, basically, you know. And we kind of disconnected for a while. She got a job, a nursing job, and she a traveling nursing job, you know. So she's always keeping contact, whatever. But we stopped talking for like 2 years, and she called me out of the blue one day and said, "Hey, you know, I ain't seen you in a while. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna come see you soon." So she called me up. She came over one night. It was probably about. It was after 11 when she came over. And I was kind of tired. I think I just got from work. Yeah, I just got from work. I was kind of tired. She came over. We were like we would basically we were talking like we picked up off where we left off at, basically. You know what I'm saying? Gave her a hug. She gave me a hug or whatever. We sat down. Um, then we went to the room, started looking at TV, and then we started hugging and kissing or whatever. And she took her clothes off. I took my clothes off, and I had to go take a piss real quick. When I went in the restroom and came back out, she put all her clothes back on. She put all her clothes back on and said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I can't do this again. Blah blah blah. Please forgive me." So I was like, "Oh, okay," you know. So now she didn't leave. She didn't leave immediately. She sat there and apologized, and we started talking about something that was on TV, I think. So I just grabbed a beer and started drinking my beer, and I put my clothes back on. And probably 10 minutes, probably 15 minutes later, she ended up leaving. So I walked outside to her car, and she left. And that was the last time I seen her. That was the last time I seen her. And I never invited her back over again to my spot. And I was never going to go back over to her spot, you know, because I don't like that. I don't like when that's leading people on. You know, that's not cool, in my opinion. But at the same time, she's not obligated to do anything with you, just like you're not obligated to do anything with her, you know. But I just never thought leading somebody on, pumping them up, thinking that y'all gonna do something, and you come to find out it doesn't happen. I just never thought that was cool. So, like I said, I never those 3 or 4 times that did happen, I never seen them women ever again. I never saw them ever again. Did they call me? Yeah, they did call, but I never took the bait. I never asked to see them again, and they probably one of them did ask to see me again, but I didn't go. I didn't go back over there. I just didn't think that was cool. You know, I even had one time a girl call me up, and I think I might have called her first, and she didn't answer, and she called me back, and I was like, "Hey, what you doing?" She said, "Oh, I'm just getting back from ride with my friend. We went like to someplace out of town, and now we back." So at the time, I was in I was on the road for like probably 4 or 5 days. I went to a conference, and I had a rental car. Most of the time when I'm out and about traveling, I have a rental car, and you know, I usually like to try to get my money's worth out of this damn car. So I told her, I said, "Hey, I'm gonna be up out of here Sunday, but I don't have to take the rental car back until Monday, right?" So she was like, "Oh, okay, so you coming over here, right?" So I started laughing, right? And I said, "Well, you know what? I can come over there." because I kind of, from it ain't really that far. I kind of gotta come through where she lives at to get back home anyway. I probably gotta exit off 95 and drive for like probably, I don't know, 30 minutes to get to her house. So I'm kind of coming through where her neck of the woods anyway in South Carolina. So I said, you know what? I'll slide through. I'll slide through or whatever. So now when I'm talking to her, it's what? Saturday. When I'm talking to her. Saturday night. Now I'm leaving Sunday, right? So she called me I'm sorry. No, this is Friday when I talked to her. Because I got there Thursday at the hotel. So it's Friday night. I'm talking to her. She called me late Saturday and said, hey, something came up. I need to reschedule. I need a rain check. My mama, she said her mama, something wrong with her mom. Her mom's sick. Had to take her to the hospital, blah, 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 this and that or whatever. And I didn't believe it. Something just told me she was lying, And I think she kind of thought, she kind of knew that I thought, she kind of knew, I think she knew that I knew that she was lying. And one of the main reasons why, because I never saw her again, number one. And she kind of stopped calling me. She stopped calling, stopped texting, everything, So it's kind of like, maybe she had a guilty conscience or some shit like that, But I kind of knew she wasn't being honest, for whatever reason. And I've been to her house before, So it's kind of like, I don't know about all that. And this spur of the moment type shit, where it's like her mom all of a sudden gets sick and I'm taking her to the hospital right now. I mean, what's the chances of that happening when we just talked a day before and we planned that I was coming to see you, whatever, and I was going to smash. And she was talking all that whoop-de-doo, what she was going to do to me and all this shit. And I think she kind of chickened out. And like I said, she stopped contacting me. I think I might have contacted her once after that, probably a week later, and she just stopped contacting me. So with all of that kind of tells me she's lying. She's selling wolf tickets. You know what I'm saying? So I never, I don't want to be around somebody that would lead me on like that. You know what I'm saying? But at least she didn't tell me to come over there and be like, I ain't getting you. You ain't getting none. That would have been even worse. So I'm happy she called and told me. Well, she actually texted me. I'm kind of happy she texted me and said, hey, don't come over again. Good. You make up, even though it's a lie, but hey, she made up something. And it's a believable lie, but whatever, But I haven't heard from her no more since that time, But hey, that's, some people are just like that, Some people like that. So hey, share this episode. Don't forget to hit the Cash App. Hopefully, have you ever had experience like this? Has a girl ever invited you over and you didn't get the goodies? Did she lie to you and had you all pumped up and you didn't get no goodies? You know what I'm saying, man? That's more likely has happened to you. If so, tell me below. Like, share, comment. Until next time, I'm out.
Alright. Just got the call, it's going down tonight. It's a lot of goodbyes here tonight. But then I saw the sky and that I like. Here from God.